amazing place where you can go horseback riding along trails and obstacle courses. You can even challenge me or one of my friends to a race. Come on, let's race.
Well, someone's got to play it.
It is I, the Pussking, and you're watching Infected Flinch. Yes, I like to watch him quite a lot on my own. I just wish that I could be near him and sit on his lap, and for him to touch me, or me to touch him, and rub my head against him, and for him to pet me. Heavy petting. Yes. But I digress. He has a very nice channel and very nice friends, and I like to watch them too. From my garden, through his window.
What was that all about? But hi, my name's Dave. I'm also known as Infected Flinch, and I am a little older, a little wiser. Had a birthday, went to Berlin, which I'm going to talk about, and also as you saw, the nostalgia trips are coming back on the 15th of June. I did say they were coming back on the 8th, but I just want to make sure that everything's in place. As you saw, I must admit, I was playing around to see if I could actually do chroma key and try and do me in 3 places at once. Which, excuse me, windy pops. I don't think it came out too bad considering I've never done it before. So that's the official date. So the 15th of June. Oh, there's a leg there. Yes, I'm wearing shorts. But anyway, the game behind me is Spider-Man 2 on Television Alba, tiny screen. Yeah, I've been away for a little bit. I feel so much better for having a holiday. So I went to Berlin in Germany, and it's an experience, and I recommend anyone to go to the place. It's the places that we went to. It's really hard to. We went there for like 3 days. And we went for 2.5 technically because of like journeys and stuff like that. But it's such an intense place, and it's so strange that there's just so much history compacted into such a place. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go was the Berlin Wall, and it was bizarre because there was this place there called the Topography of Terror, and me and Kirsty went there, and it was just like, it's so bizarre because the Berlin Wall was there, but you could have blinked and missed it. It's literally like, is that it? It's really weird. It's not that is that it in a bad way. It's just, you kind of just think it's a wall and you think nothing of it. It's the whole city seems to make it trivial that it was there, and they just they can't stand that it's there. It's really odd. It's just such an odd feeling because, well, the Topography of Terror was, just to kind of go back a step, Topography of Terror was this, it was a museum that was based upon where the Gestapo was. So it was the foundations of the Gestapo. So they knocked it down for obvious reasons, and there was like a little bits and pieces of it which was left. So some of the foundations in the wall, there was a few beams that were left where they'd fell, and they just left them there out of not respect, but just kind of say, this is where it is, and this is all that will ever be left of it. Not out of respect, definitely not. It was almost, we can't stand the fact that happened. But yeah, it was strange, because like where the Gestapo headquarters was and where this giant museum was, literally like to the right of it, it was there. The wall was just here. And it was so weird, because we were looking at all this stuff. So like you could walk underneath, like here where all the foundations were, and the wall, the actual wall of Berlin, was there. And you had no idea. It was so weird. We were looking at it and we were thinking, is that it? Was that it? And it's literally, you can blink and miss it. It's so weird. Apparently there was other places where the wall was, but it's just bits and pieces. There was like a big huge art bit that we just didn't get time to see. And one of the things that seemed to come across, because we went to Checkpoint Charlie. Checkpoint Charlie is like this little box, this little checkpoint between American and Russian borders. Well, like forces. There was so much information to process because we went into the museum, and I'm sorry if I kind of get it wrong myself, but there was so much to take in on one day, because we went to Checkpoint Charlie, we went to the Topography of Terror, which was all about the Nazis and where everything was. What else did we do all in one day? We did so much. We went to the Mall of Berlin. Yeah, the mall, as in a big shopping place. The Mall of Berlin. Which, I don't know if anyone's from around Sheffield, but it made Meadow Hall look wank. It was fucking huge. It had 3 floors. It was massive. It's huge. And it's all dedicated to the Wall of Berlin and everything that went before it, and it's kind of been built on it as if to say, yeah, we don't care about that wall anymore. It's all that whole thing that Berlin seems to have. It's like we need to remember it was there, but we don't care now. We've got over it. This is to show that we got over it, and that's a lot of the places it kind of came across. And one other thing that seemed to come across, especially in Checkpoint Charlie, that it was rife, but they hated the Russians. It just came across in waves and waves and waves about the Russians. It just came across that way. I don't have anything against the Russians myself, and I'm not saying I agree with any kind of standpoint on that, but it was just such a strange... The Checkpoint Charlie Museum, outright, was just like, you just got that whole feeling like the Russian government is wrong, they're bad, there was the guy, the Swedish guy, which I forget his name, Raoul, it began Raoul W. He had a second name, and it was about a guy who saved lots of people in Hungary, and then the Russians got hold of him, the Soviets, and he disappeared, vanished, never to be seen again. There was a bit there, and it was lots of things about what the Russians had done, and it was almost to the point where it was nothing about, well, what have the Russians done that have been good? And it just didn't come across in that museum at all. They just categorically hated them. That's how it came across. I don't know if that's the point, and I'm not. That's how I saw it. But yeah, it was good. We also went to Brandenburger Tor, the gate. So we went there, and that was a weird experience because it was just like. It was actually covered up with there was a lot of football stuff going off, so you couldn't really see the gates properly, which was a bit bizarre. But yeah, we went there. We also went into the actual Tiergarten, which was next to it, and there's some beautiful like statues and stuff. But there was one thing which was I can't remember the name of it. It was like a steel box. And you looked in the box and there was 2 blokes kissing. It was actually an erotic kiss between 2 men. And it was supposed to do with the fact that so many men had been prosecuted, and women, just gay men and women, had been prosecuted during the war. But I just couldn't help but like laugh at it. It was so horrible because I knew what they were getting at, but it was just it was so oddly placed. It was just this concrete box. Yeah, this is what it looks like. So yeah, it's a concrete box in the middle of nowhere that you peer into, and there's a video of two men having a good old-fashioned snog in there. And I know what they're getting at. Great, that's great. But it just felt so out of place. It just didn't feel as if it was meant to be there. Because right next to it was the Jew Holocaust Memorial as well, which was lots and lots of pillars of concrete that you kind of walked through, and it went in different directions. And I just felt it was a bit too new age for me. I just couldn't understand what it was trying to tell me. It might have meant more, and I mean that's me showing ignorance more than likely. It was a very weird experience. But when I was there at the time, I was just stood there going, I don't get it. But when I've walked away from it and I've come back home, there's a part of me that's kind of gone, it makes sense there, but it wouldn't make any sense anywhere else. It's so weird. You'd have to go and see it. It's a bizarre, weird experience to behold. But yeah, we went there. Now, one thing that we went to see was I don't know if it was called the Victory Tower or the Memorial Tower. It was like in the middle of Berlin. It was this big, huge tower where they'd won the war in like the 1700s. I forgot the name of it. It was like a big, huge, like, it was almost like Nelson's Column, but better and huge and massive. So yeah, we went to see that, and we went to Berlin Zoo. Now, if you can imagine Twycross, Chester Zoo, and Doncaster Zoo, and every other zoo in England put into one place, you've got Berlin Zoo. It is fucking huge, and my feet were stumps because we went there at like 11 o'clock, and we finished up at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's huge, and there were bits we missed. We didn't get it done. It were fucking huge. It were massive, and it's just such a city. But they have the actual U-Bahn and the S-Bahn, which is the things you get on to travel around the city. It's just how transport should be done. It is insane. If a tram is coming in 2 minutes, it's fucking coming in 2 minutes, that place. It comes spot on to the second. It is so accurate. And you get on and it tells you you're going to be on there for 2 minutes. You are on there for 2 minutes and you're off. You're on to your next place. It's so good. They know what they're doing. They really do. But the only place I didn't like was Alexanderplatz, which was like a big, huge, like a big, huge place. It's like Leeds. That's the only thing I could attribute it to. Leeds on a bad day. That's what it's like. And it's really noisy, really loud, full of people. Got lots of bars and stuff. It's a very strange place, is Alexanderplatz. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Somebody will tell me otherwise. But yeah, overall, I would say to anybody, go to Berlin and experience it, because it is an experience. And when I got there, when it was my birthday for being 30, I look back now and I think, great, I'm glad I did that when I turned 30. And I would say to anybody, go and enjoy it and just soak it up. I when I first got there, it was so overwhelming because I didn't know what to feel, what to do, and it was so weird. The only way that we actually managed it, in the hotel, there was like a little map that we ripped off. Like, it was just like a map that you could rip off loads of other maps. So it was like an A4 sheet that you could take off. And the sense of wonder and exploration by doing that, fucking amazing. It's the best way to do Berlin, is just to get a map and just explore it yourself and just walk around it. Your feet are gonna kill. I mean, my feet are absolutely battered. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but look at that. Look at that. Absolutely knackered. But you don't really need to see that. But it's a real experience, and I can't say any more than that. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant city and so much history, and you learn a lot about what happened to them and what they ushered in after. I mean, the thing is, what got me with the Second World War, I don't know, I was kind of in the mind that whether or not they wanted the Nazis in or not. They voted them in, they must have done. But the way that it comes across, it sounds like when you're there now, it's like we never wanted it. But they must have done. Because why would they have took over unless they... Yeah, anyway, it's a weird experience because they just don't want to remember it, but they do want to remember it at the same time. Really weird. Anyway, that was me talking about Berlin. So it's a long, convoluted story, but really, really enjoyed it. Now, enough of me waffling, because for some bizarre reason, I've got loads and loads of pickups. Yeah, genuinely lots and lots. In an H&M bag. Ha! Yeah. I had to buy an umbrella in Berlin. It came in this H&M bag. So, not really that exciting, is it? But yeah. Anyway, a lot of this came from like when we went to Nottingham last week. Just all sorts, really. There's all sorts in here, so we'll go through it together, shall we? Have a look, see what we've got. But first off, this did come from, from Berlin. Berlin? No, it didn't. It came from Nottingham. It came from... Right, this came from Nottingham. So this was 99p. So Project Gotham Racing 2, but guess what? Both 1 and 2, both of them. So I looked out. That was in British Art Foundation, so I looked out. So I got both of them. Yay. I need a cuppa. Excuse me a moment. Ooh, how rude. Oh, that's better. Right, let's carry on, shall we? So, yeah, I've got loads in here. I don't know how I've managed it, really. So, this one, where did this come from? I don't remember where this came from. But yeah, I remember my mate had it, but it's Fur Fighters, Vigo's Revenge. So yeah, that one. I bought so much I can't remember where it's come from. But yeah, that's Bizarre Creations that made that. Same guys that just did Project Gotham. Bit of a tenuous link there. What else we got? Krusty's Funhouse. That came from Nottingham as well. So get a bit closer so you can see it. Just the cart. Gran Turismo 2. Not a bad box, actually. Not a bad box. Also, it's got the label on it. Oh, we'll take that off. Oh, there we go. Super Buster Move. So, I think that's Buster Move 3, I think. Super Buster Move. I don't know. I could be wrong. Could be right. I don't know what's different about it. But yeah, conveyor belts challenge your Super BAM skills, apparently. So yeah, that's an interesting experience. What else we got? Oh, Soulfunk Retro mentioned this. He said he liked it. The cart's absolutely mangled, but I thought for £2 I'm going to pick it up. Budokan? Can you see that? How knackered that is? £2, look. Playtime. Playtime. Yeah, Playtime. That's in Nottingham. This came from Chesterfield, this one. It was a bit battered, but Beyblade, PS1. Let it rip! Well, I don't know what I'm ripping, but let it rip. Let a good old fart. Yeah, X-Men Mutant Academy 2. That came from Chesterfield as well. That one's in a good box, actually. That one's a decent box. Was the Mutant Academy games any good? Answers on a postcard. I don't know with that one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Yep, so box is a bit mangled, but I'm going to try and get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it could be quite fun. I don't know. I actually don't know, but it might be alright. Probably not, is it? Probably not. Another one for £2. This one's by Bullfrog, but I don't know anything about it. Powermonger. Answers on a postcard with that one, anyone? So, yeah, that's that one. It's still going, it's still going. Now, these are all just discs, but I thought for like 50p a disc, I'm going to have them. because some of them are really decent games actually. So because I've been enjoying Wolfenstein, I thought I'd get return to Castle Wolfenstein. This is Tides of War. So Tides of War. Cold Fear. I seem to remember that being really well received, so I thought I'd get that. So Cold Fear. Red Dead Revolver. Yep, so that one. Legacy of Kain Defiance. I love the Legacy of Kain series. I don't know if everyone's ever noticed that, but yeah, I love that series. And finally, The Simpsons game. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. So I've got quite a bit, haven't I? As I'm breaking it everywhere, going all over. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So as I say, the nostalgia trips are coming back on the 15th of June. We may do a live event of some sort. I'm not sure when or why or how. If anybody wants to see us do that, we might do that. Me and Stefan might have a little chin wag with everybody. So comment, like and subscribe as you normally do. I've been Dave, you've been watching me. I've not been watching you whilst you sleep. Honest.